Well, welcome back to my studio. I am working on a big painting right now. It's 48 inches by 75 inches, and it's of the Ritz Carlton Resort at Half Moon Bay in California. And I showed you a picture of where it's at this particular point to begin with, and now I'm getting ready to start blocking in the Bluffs that the resort, this is the resort up here, the resort sits on, and got ocean, bluffs and rocks, and California coast, the mountains going off into the distance. I showed you my color mixes, and they are basically mixtures of the mud, which is 2 parts of ultramarine blue and 1 part of alizarin crimson, and then I've added cadmium orange into that, and white, a tiny touch of phthalo blue, and a little bit of cadmium yellow medium. And then I also have just a few mixes of my mud plus white. Need to make another little mix of that that's a little bit darker. And so now I'll start doing the rocks on the bluffs. I also showed you a picture of the resort, what I'm painting. And so now let's get started. Again, these are the mixtures of my mud plus white plus the cadmium orange, a touch of phthalo blue, and a touch of cadmium yellow. And I've just mixed several mixes of this in different combinations, and because the rocks are varied, you noticed in the picture, they're not just all the same, and the sun is coming in from the left, so we really want this part of the rocks highlighted. They'll get a little darker as you come over here, but this is the area that we want highlighted. And ice plant and growies and stuff come down here along the top, so I just have a little shadow coming down underneath. If I start coughing, I don't have COVID, but I just got back from a couple of weeks ago from Israel and Egypt, and the dust in Egypt. We were at the pyramids, and then we went down to Luxor and visited all the tombs of the pharaohs and the kings, and it was very dusty, very hot, like 113 degrees, and the dust just kind of gets into my lungs. This is something that's always happened to me. Jack and I lived in Las Vegas for a while, and when we got real dusty, that would just kind of get into my lungs a little bit, but it's nothing serious, just takes a while to work out some of the congestion. I am also working some of the blues from my water into the rocks just to give a little coolness here and there. Again, I just throw a lot of color up here, then I'll come back in and make sense of it all. Now in this foreground, this is going to be the golf course, and there's going to be trees and stuff here. But and then the base of the bluffs have my pictures on my laptop, just to the right of my easel. And that sand will come up here. This is called a bright brush. It's got a square end. I prefer to use the brights. And this is a synthetic bristle. I don't like the bristle brushes. They're not soft enough. They don't retain their shape. They kind of splay out. I don't like them. But this brand is it's actually called Silver White, and this is a 1502 bright, and the size is a 16. I really prefer the brights. I can use the corner to make little small strokes, or I can use the broad edge to make bigger strokes. But as I get back over here, let this get a little darker. Now this right there is going to actually have some light hitting it, because this bluff is sideways and then this one comes out. So I want some light hitting this. You can see this brush, I just really like these brushes. nice for making rocks. I'll come back and do quite a bit of refining, but this kind of gives you an idea of how I block in an area like this. I'd asked someone to ask about blocking in the sky, and it took me almost all day to paint the sky, so it just, there was no way I could do a video of that. But this is a smaller area, so I can do, I can show you how this works, and don't have a video that lasts all day long. And again, I add some coolness into there. Just again, to add variation. That you want these big areas of color, you want them to be interesting. You want to look at a section of your painting and find things in there to really look at and find interesting. Your viewer, it's just not the subject of the painting, but how the paint's applied, and color surprises where you may get a color up there that you didn't expect, and you like it and you leave it, and those are just the fun things that happen in painting. Now, this bluff comes out ahead of these others, so it gets more light. This one back here, we're going to make a little bluer because it goes back behind that one. You can see how I start shaping the rocks, just using the brush. The edge of the brush really helps give that feel. I'm going to mix a little lighter mixture, add a touch of orange in there, because it's late afternoon, so the warmth of the sun is coloring the rocks. And the fun thing about this resort is my collectors stayed there. They're golfers, sailors, just love this area, and they stayed there. And at sunset, the resort has a Scottish bagpiper who comes out and plays Amazing Grace. And they said it was just incredible. And so this is what we're doing in this painting. This is just, we're getting ready for sunset. It's not far away. The clouds already have a blush of that late afternoon sun color in them. And in the foreground, if you noticed in the big entire piece at the beginning, and I'll show it again at the end, there's flowers on a little hill kind of overlooking the whole scene, and a picnic basket. And so that's for my collectors they're going to come up and have a glass of wine and listen to Amazing Grace and just enjoy the Lord's beauty. This area is just incredible, and listening to the ocean, the waves crashing, and oh my gosh, I love the California coast. It's truly amazing. Jack and I were fortunate to live several times on the coast, and just in California. It was wonderful. But this shows you how I block in the rocks. Like I say, I'll have more to do, but this kind of gives you a feel for how that happens. And then on the top here, the foliage, I bring that down. Starts tumbling down over the rocks. So I thank you for watching my video. You can follow my blog. The link is in the description below. You can subscribe to my blog as well as my YouTube videos. And I just thank you so much for following along. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. And just remember, give somebody a big smile today. You know, we're getting to where we don't have to wear masks, and give somebody a smile. You just never know how that may help their day. So take care. I really appreciate you, and just have a wonderful, wonderful day.